Hello, and welcome. I'm here today with the lovely Rachel. We've recently been working together, and we were going to have a little chat about how the process of therapy went and what she found helpful, and perhaps what she didn't find helpful. And then, we can see how therapy can help us, because often we forget that there are ways to help ourselves, ways to, or things that we maybe don't know now that we can learn to help us move forward in life. And, it can be from the smallest thing to the biggest, really, in therapy. So I'm not going to waffle on too long. I wanted to get to it. So, welcome, Rachel. Lovely to have you here.
Hello, Tina.
Hi. So we started working back in September, didn't we? I think it was towards the end of September that we first met.
That
Do
is
you mind?
correct.
Yeah. Do you mind telling me or telling everyone a little bit more about how you were feeling at the time? What was it that brought you to therapy, really?
So I was suffering with anxiety and I was having issues with work, wasn't able to, I was having difficulty processing them. And I basically just didn't really know what to do. And everything that I came up against, I didn't know how to handle. And I just worried about everything. I overthought everything. Um, Everything was just being consumed in my head, just going over what I
Mm,
should do with everything, how I could make things better. But in the long run, I wasn't actually getting anywhere at all. It's just making matters worse. But obviously, I didn't realise that at the time.
no, no, and that's the thing, isn't it? We often don't realise that what we're trying to do to help is actually making it worse. The trying to think of solutions, it's making us worry more, and then we're perhaps not seeing what the potential solutions are. So how did that affect you emotionally? What would you say? You said anxiety. Were there other emotions that were there at the same time?
Um, yes, there was a mixture of emotions. Every day seemed like a different emotion. So I did go through, I was going through a trauma at work, which was triggering all the issues, and every day was like a lucky dip. I never knew what was coming, or what I really had until I was living it. But they ranged from anger, being sad, crying. Um, didn't really have much confidence and self-esteem. I just didn't really know what was the right thing to do. Should I be doing this? I thought about every situation. It was a very difficult time and I wasn't really functioning at my best.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, I remember it, feeling really, as you said, the word trauma there. It felt very traumatic. It was like constant battering of all these different emotions in different situations at work. And
Yes.
how did that reflect on your home life then? If it was, it was mainly at work, what was happening at home?
Um, so obviously I think I was quite a hard person to deal with. Just a simple comment, I could flip out. I wasn't as relaxed and calm. I didn't really enjoy anything that we did as a family. Um, it was just an extension of what I was going through at work, at home.
Mm,
I wasn't really happy and I just didn't know what the best thing to be doing was. Um, it's now been brought to my attention that I was quite snappy and not really approachable, and
mm,
that's not how I want to be.
yeah, yeah. And as you say, it brought to your attention because sometimes we don't even notice it too much ourselves at the time, do we? It's
No,
so
not at all. I thought I was doing okay.
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? We can get caught up in it, and because it's our life. We just living it as best we can. So, um, what about any physical symptoms? Did you notice anything else going on in your body? Or, even if you didn't notice it at the time, as we say, you might notice it now on reflection.
I was very tense. Um, just trying to think because you just take it for granted when you're in that storm.
Mm,
I just found I had issues sleeping. I'd have dreams and just not wanting to go to bed because I never felt tired.
mm,
So I would stay up way too late, overthinking everything, which then doesn't really make it any better because your mind doesn't ever switch off and relax. Um, I think one of the things that you brought to my attention was I never actually made any time for myself. So actually finding time to relax, that was really nice. I really enjoyed that. I suppose physically, it was I was comfort eating. Um, yeah, I can't think of anything else at the top of my hand. Sorry.
yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah. So, what was it stopping you doing? Were there certain things that you were unable to do because of the way you were feeling?
Yeah, so obviously my self-esteem and confidence had really been knocked, and I didn't like being around people. So we was doing a hybrid way of working. So there was 3 days in the office, 2 days at home. But following the trauma, I didn't feel I could be around people. Just very anxious of if people walked behind me or just being around me, if they were talking about me. Um, so for 9 weeks, I worked remotely. Um, I just didn't feel I had the confidence or the strength or resilience to return to the office. And I felt that I was doing a good job working at home, but obviously over time I realised I probably wasn't working at my best. Um, but at that time I couldn't be around people.
Mm, yeah.
That was the
I,
major thing.
Yes, yeah, and we've already said, it makes you more snappy at home, and so it was people everywhere, really, wasn't it? It wasn't just at work; it was at home, and then I guess if it's people in general, was it the social side of things as well? You weren't able to socialize or be with family, extended family and things like that as well.
Um, yes, I was quite happy just being with the immediate family and a few of my friends I felt comfortable to meet up with, but really I just wanted to stay in, lick my wounds. I just didn't want to be around big groups of people and be around people and not know what to say and how I felt about things.
Yeah,
I,
so that
I just felt I'd really been stripped back of the real me.
mm, yeah, and that uncertainty was causing a lot of problems then, of not knowing what other people might say or how you might react or feel about things.
Yes.
So that theme of uncertainty came up a few times, didn't it? Of, making us feel more anxious and less certain in ourselves. Yeah. So um what about moving forward then? Were there things in like you knew about therapy before you entered, or had you heard of CBT, for instance, or did you know what would entail?
So I did know about CBT. My son had had it a few years before. It wasn't something that I really I just knew that they were tools on how to deal with certain situations. So I was hoping that that would help me. But I've always been a firm believer that it's what you put in is what you get back out. So I did try to really, fully go in full hearted.
Yeah, yeah, and you did. Yeah, you did really well. And I think that's key, isn't it, in life in general, but in therapy, we need to be motivated to make those changes. you need to be motivated to do the work. It's not all that straightforward sometimes, is it?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, sometimes just the simple thing of controlling my breathing and making sure I stayed in here in my forehead, that you know, the easy things were it's just keep doing them. So then
Yeah,
it comes naturally. I
yeah,
think that
that's
really
it.
helped me.
Yeah, so you have to be was going to use the word motivated again, but really resilient in the fact that you are going to continue doing it even if you don't see the results straight away, and then persevere with it and keep practicing with whatever the tools are that are going to be helpful for you. So how did you find the overall process of therapy then? Did you enjoy it, or did you find it completely difficult? What would you say?
That's an interesting question. I would say at first I was intrigued and knew I needed help. And then I think as I went through and I realized, oh, actually, I can do these. And yes, it is just, and then obviously where you're picking it apart and realizing I don't need to think about that and I don't need to be doing this, I think that really, really helped. And then it makes it easier to go forward. There wasn't anything that I didn't really enjoy.
Hmm. Yeah, so it helps to be a bit more curious about things then and intrigued to start with. And then once you get going, it's almost like it takes on its own momentum.
Yes, yes. And I suppose the biggest thing is not to worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. It is to have the courage to just go for it, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've delved in a little bit to your past and things. Was it helpful to understand where things had come from and why?
Yes, I think it is. Yes.
Yeah. It's not always comfortable, but it's helpful.
Yeah, I agree because you do think, where is this going to lead?
Yeah.
And again, you worry about it again.
Yeah.
But no, I think you have to understand the past to be able to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Well put. It's exactly, I often think, we understand ourselves a lot more, isn't it, when we can understand where we come from and why we are who
Yes.
we are. Hmm. Are there ways that you are now, or your life is now, that you wouldn't have imagined or you couldn't have foreseen?
Oh, I don't think I ever would have thought I'd forget worrying and just ping my thoughts away.
Yeah.
Um, I think before I met you, obviously with the trauma, it was quite a hard time. I couldn't see there was a way out or how things were going to get better.
Yeah. So would you say your future looks better now than it did then?
Yes, definitely. I've got a lot more confidence. I've got my self-esteem back. I know what I can do. And when I have difficult days, I know how to manage them.
Mm.
Um, Not always, they don't always come straight away thinking of, oh, I have to do this, but I know I have those tools and it puts me in a much better position than when I was before.
Yeah. And with those tools, have you been able to return to work? You get back in the office more?
Yes, yes. So I'm back in the office. I have been back 2 days a week instead of the three. I find it really tires me out.
Mm.
But in the new year, I'm hoping to continue to do 2 days to building up to 3 days.
Yeah. It's funny you say about it tiring you out, because we often forget just how our emotions are tiring, and especially anxiety. If we're still trying to practice what we've learned, and it's all new, it all takes a lot of head work. We actually burn a lot of calories thinking. So it's tiring. It's really hard work to keep going, but you're doing brilliantly, and I'm sure you'll get back to your 3 days. So you're very determined.
Yes, thank you, Tina. I don't like things keeping me down.
No, and that's it, isn't it? Again, another quality that helps us in therapy and to get past the obstacles we've faced is having that determinist, or that determination to move forward and not to be held back by anything or anyone. And I often say that people that overthink are often strivers. Those people that are the good people, the ones that are like to be known as the good person, the good girl, good boy, and are conscientious, they're good workers, they're ideal employees, or bosses, they're the people that really do a lot of work. But that can be our downfall, when we're facing obstacles, because then people notice more, don't they? Because we're not perhaps doing as much as we would have done,
Yes.
but we can use it to our advantage to help us get back there. Mm. So, if anybody was thinking about, sort of trying therapy, or even just talking to someone to think about, whether it would suit them, what would you say to them?
I would definitely recommend it and definitely to give it a go.
Mm.
The way I felt before, I had nothing to lose. And I just proved now that so much to gain.
Yeah, yeah. So, if you could summarize how your life was then to how it is now, what would it, what would that comparison be?
Um, well, before I felt like I was in a tunnel, a very dark tunnel, never ending with no light. And I just felt very sad and just not in a very good place. Where now I am actually enjoying my life, my family, and trying to make the most of everything with work. And yes, just enjoying and making the most of everything. And
Mm.
I'm not in a tunnel and
Mm.
the sun is shining. There is a big difference.
Yeah, it's funny, we often use those analogies, that we, and those metaphors, and this can seem a little bit cliched at times, and I'm not not sort of saying that to make you feel bad about saying it, but it is often that we say we're in a tunnel, a dark place, a hole, and then we see
Yeah.
the light, and it's a cliche or a metaphor that we use often because it's so true, that that's how life seems. It seems so dark and enclosed and small, and yet
Yes.
life is more open, and we can get there, we can get to see the light and have more space, have more choice. And I often hope that people come out of therapy with more conscious choice, deciding which direction they want to go and how they want to lead their life, rather than feeling confined in that tight space, this tunnel or the hole.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think I found before every encounter, um, all t I seem to take it as a negativity, and I didn't deal with it in the right way. Where now I can just take a deep breath and think about it and see it in a different way.
Yeah.
I think that is a very big difference.
Yeah.
Before, everything was just another issue and just made the matter worse, regardless of what it was.
Yeah. So would you say that you were able to do that, stop, take a breath, look at other options, or think about it before the incident at work happened? Was that something that you could do then and you've just regained those skills, or is this something completely new?
Oh, that's another good question, Tina. I think before I was never shown the skills. I think you have your normal resilience and you just get on and you just do it with it. But after the trauma, I think I just needed reteaching and showing these are the tools you've got. This is how you need to do. I suppose it's same as it's like breathing. You don't ever think about it until someone tells you to think about it.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. So a lot of what we learn in therapy is stuff that we actually do know intuitively, but it's just been pushed aside because of life has got in the way. And then we're
Yes.
rediscovering it, but being retaught it back in sort of step by step process, I often think, rather than, like, you need to get back to how you were. Well, we could do that, we would on our own. But yeah, I think that's how I see it, is, just that teaching of those things. The resilience is there already, and we know it intuitively what we need to do, but it's the skills to be able to do it and being guided and helped to do it again ourselves. We're frozen. Okay, tech issues, we've resolved them, we hope. So, do you feel like, if anything was to happen again in the future, you had any other, hopefully not traumatic, but any other incidents occur, you'd be able to cope now that you've got the skills to be able to do that?
Yes, I think the skills that you've given me, I would go through them, uh, step by step process, how you've taught them to me, starting off with my breathing, then thinking of my senses, and then maybe if with the worries, start writing them down, and can I make a plan? Can I do anything about them? If not, do I really need to be worrying about them? I think they're really good steps, and I have shared them with other people to, just try to help out. I didn't need to worry about half the things that I did. So I will continue to use them. And if anything does arise in the future, hopefully they'll keep me going.
Brilliant, yeah. And so, just, out of interest, would you recommend working with me again, or if someone was needing that help, would you suggest that they contacted me?
Yes, I would, Tina. In all of our sessions, I've always found you very empathetic, very knowledgeable, very caring. Um, yes, I've enjoyed our sessions and I'd wish you all the best, and I would most definitely recommend you.
Oh, thank you so much, Rachel. I've really enjoyed working with you as well, and to see the journey, another cliche, but it's so true, isn't it? We come from one place, we get to another, and it is through that
Yes.
dark tunnel and out the other side and into the light that, it make my work life, meaningful. That's why I do the job. That I do see this, and it's a privilege to watch, people like you, who do so well and um, put everything into it. To come out the other side is wonderful. So thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you for
Thank you,
sharing your
Tina.
story.
Thank you for all your help.
Oh, you're more than welcome, and thank you for sharing your story.